Hi guys, hello and welcome to another C# programming tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn about the conditional operator called a ternary operator. This operator is mainly used in place of an if condition. So if you would like to replace an if condition which puts its results in a single variable, then this is a very good choice of condensing your code down. This is the only ternary operator available to us in C#, and it's also available to you in Java and also in JavaScript and maybe some other languages. So the ternary operator basically takes the following form. It checks the condition to see if it is true. If it is true, the first value is what it picks. Otherwise, it picks the second value, and both values are separated by a colon. Let's take a brief example. I'm going to be doing this example using an if condition, and then we will transform this example into a ternary operator solution. So let's say if I have a variable x1 equals to 45 and x2 equals to 44, and I would like to store the maximum of the two in a variable called max, which is initialized with the value of 0. So now, typically, you will write if x1 is greater than x2, then max equals to x1. Otherwise, max equals to x2. And you will then display the output. Max is max. This is a typical example. Let me run this code. It's a simple if condition which runs and checks and makes sure that the greater of the two is stored in max as we display the max. Now, where does the ternary operator comes into place? The ternary operator can make your life a lot easier by simply writing the statement like this: max equals to, followed by a condition, followed by a question mark, followed by the first value, which is x1 colon x2. So what are we saying here? The condition is check to see if x1 is greater than x2. If x1 is greater than x2, then x1 will be assigned to max. Otherwise, x2 will be assigned to max. Let's delete the if condition now. And now let's rerun this code. You will get the same output again because max is 45, as 45 is greater than 44. If you want to further reduce this logic, what else you can do? You can simply copy this instruction, the expression, and replace the 0 with it. Because x1 and x2 are already declared on the same lines, the C# totally understands that you're comparing x1 and x2. So if x1 is greater than x2, then it grabs the value of x1, puts it in max. Otherwise, it displays the value of x2 in max, and again, you get the exact same output. Let's try something else. If you're not interested in storing the value in a third variable, rather all you're interested is in displaying the output, you can simply copy this expression, and in the WriteLine statement, you got to make sure that you put your output within parentheses. So I'm going to be putting a open and close parentheses, and I'll put the expression right there. I'll get rid of this whole declaration, okay? And now let me run this code. You will get exact same output as before, because all you're doing now is you are doing a comparison right within the program. Now, the output statement. So these were some of the implementations of using the ternary operator. Let's look for more implementations. Let me comment out what I just wrote, and then now let's move on to, let's say if I have an application that I want to write where I want to accept the number of guests from the user, the number of guests who have accepted the invitation. And now I will display their count. If their count is singular, I mean, like it's a singular value, I'll say, let's say 1 is like 1 guest accepted the invitation. If it's anything more than 1, I'll say 2 guests. So I'm going to use a plural. So to differentiate between singular and plural, one way would be to use an if condition. However, we can also use a ternary operator, and that's what we're going to be looking at next. So first of all, we will declare guests and accept the input and declare guests. So we are asking user to please enter the number of guests, and this value is getting stored in guests. Now I'm going to give you an if condition solution, then I'm going to change it to a ternary operator solution. So if guests is greater than 1, WriteLine, the guests variable, which holds the value, followed by the plural guests accepted the invitation. And in the else part, we will write with a singular guest accepted the invitation. Now let's test. I'm going to test it with 5, for example. It will give me a guests, which is plural, okay? And if I enter, let's say 1 next in my next run, it does tells me guest, as you can see here on the screen. Now, let's try to solve this problem with ternary operator. And ternary operator, as you saw on line number 18, which I just commented out, that you can use ternary operator right within the output statement, and that's what we're going to be doing. WriteLine, okay? So the first thing I need to do is I need to display the variable guests, followed by a message which will be figured out based on the number of guests, because that's my next word, right? Which is guests or guest, followed by a static output, which is accepted the invitation. Accepted the invitation, okay? Now here, where I put my parentheses is where I'm going to be writing my condition. What's my condition? Check to see if guests is greater than 1, question mark. If it is true, then you are looking for a plural guests. Otherwise, you're looking for a singular guest. Let me delete this. And now let's test. And as we test, you can see that please enter the number of guests. If I enter, let's say 5, again, it says 5 guests accepted the invitation. If I enter 1, it will tell me 1 guest. Now here I need to put a space. See, here we go. Let's test it again with a space in place. So let's enter 1 and it says 1 guest accepted the invitation. There's one last thing I want to talk about here in this example, and that is the not operator. The not operator is the negation operator, which negates a condition. It is only just a exclamation mark. You probably would have seen it in not equals to as well. So now let me copy this statement that I already wrote here and paste it. And now let me flip the condition around by saying not right at the beginning of condition. So it pretty much means that not greater than 1. Okay, so not. So if it is if guests is greater than 1, let's say if you enter 5, then this will be true. So the not is simply making the true false. So for anything that is plural will go to false. And anything that is singular will go here. So I'm just reversing the situation here. So it pretty much means that if the number of guests equals 5, is 5 greater than 1? Yes. However, the not will make it a no. Not yes is no. So it will automatically jump to the second case. If guest is 1 greater than 1? No. But because of the not, the no will become yes, or the false will become true. And it will gonna go to the first one. So not simply negates the condition. That's all it does. Let's rerun this application again. And we will get the same output. If I enter 1, it just tells me that guest, which is singular. And then if I run it again, and this time if I enter the value 5, it says plural guests. So anyway, to wrap up this example, 10 minutes long, we went over the ternary operator and the not operator. Makes your life very easy. So try it next time you write your code to see if your if condition can be replaced with a ternary operator, a single instruction to replace 4 lines of code at least. See you in the next tutorial. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And let me know if you need videos on any particular topic in the comment section below. Till then, bye-bye.